And we are on the way. Started up. Have we went live yet? We getting ready to go live. Live, live. Live, live. Live, live. Live, live. So tell me, how did I go live? That's right. It's the relationship rehab going live off up in here, people. And we're going to let a few people roll up in here. And then we're going to get it started. And in the meantime, and in between time, we can have some fun, people. It's going down, baby. Get my lips right, because don't nobody like no ashy, crusty lips. Yeah. Say what's up to everybody. Holla at my peoples. What's good? It's so good to see y'all. Yeah, we in here. Once upon a time, not long ago, when people wore pajamas and lived life slow, when all was stern injustice stood, and people were behaving like they were too good, there lived a little boy who was misled by another little boy, and this is what he said. Me and you, Ty, we're gonna make some cash, robbing old folks and making a dash. They did the job, money came with ease, but one couldn't stop. He's like he had a disease. He robbed another, and a sister and a brother. Tried to rob a man who was a DT undercover. The cop grabbed his arm, he started acting erratic. He said, "Keep still, boy, no need for static." Punched him in the belly and he gave him a slap. But little did he know the little boy was strapped. The kid put out a gun, he said, "Why'd you hit me?" The barrel's aimed straight for the cop's kidney. Yeah, what y'all know about that? The kid, he starts to figure, I'll do years if I pull this trigger. So he cold dashed and ran around the block. Cop radios into another lady cop. There he saw the sister. Why is that doing? Okay, there we go. Shot for the head, he shot back, but he missed her. Yeah, there we go. Come on in here, people. He decided he'd head for the subway station, but he was running and he made a left. He was running top speed till he was out of breath. Knocked an old man down who swore he killed him. Sorry. Then he made his move to an abandoned building. Ran upstairs up to the top floor. Opened up the door. There, guess who he saw? Who? Dave, the dope fiend shooting in dope, who don't know the meaning of water nor soap. He said, "I need bullets. Hurry up, run." The dope fiend pulled back a spanking shotgun. Yeah, buddy. What y'all know about that slick Rick? Huh? Knock him out the box, Rick. This ain't funny, so don't you dare laugh. Just another case about the wrong path. Straight and narrow or your soul gets cast. Good night. Knock him out the box, Rick. Knock him out, Rick. Yeah, buddy. Knock him out the box, Rick. Knock him out, Rick. Knock him out, Rick. Got that slick Rick the ruler. Yes, sir. So we got a couple of people up in here. Want to send a shout out to Tess Faye, Christian Hurt, Brandon. What's going on, people? Glad y'all can stop on by on this late night relationship rehab. I think this is going to be a pretty decent and informative show. It's going to be hot. Hope you all enjoy it. I know I'm going to enjoy myself. I hope that you do too. Yes. Glad everybody is coming on off up in here to check me out. And if you are watching this on Facebook Live, you need to come on over to the chat. I mean, not to the chat, but you need to come over. Well, we do got a chat, but you need to come over to the YouTube channel, because I'm only going to stream on the Facebook Live just for a little bit. Then we're going to cut that on off. So, man, everybody who's watching this now, if you looking at my face and you are on Facebook, in the little description thing, you'll see it. And even on my page, you'll see the link to come over to YouTube to check it out. If you ain't been over to my YouTube channel, then I want you to subscribe. I want you to like the channel. Tell me what you think about it. Leave me a message, whatever the case may be. We got a chat over there. So man, just come on over, get your YouTube game up, get your YouTube life right. If I'm not in your subscribed YouTube channels, then it's something wrong with your life. Your life ain't together. You know what I'm saying? Your life, it just ain't together. You need to get yourself together. Get on over to the YouTube. If you ain't got a channel, get your little channel so you can subscribe, so you'll know when I go live, when I'm doing stuff. I'm always doing stuff. What's up, my boy Supreme Cheese in the building? Hey, my man Chris Thorns, my brother from down there in the big old M, boy, I tell you. Hey, man, you know I got people down there in the M, man. That's where my father's side of the family from, man. Down there, I got people down there, man. I'm right off of 2nd Street, man. My grandmama's house right off of 2nd Street, man. You know, I know you know where that's at, player. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right off of 2nd Street over there on Cedar. Yeah, that's where my people stay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, man. If I come through there, probably maybe sometime next year, I'll probably hit the big old M, man, to visit my people down there, man. I'ma definitely come find you somewhere, man. Maybe we go down to Beale Street or something, man, and have lunch or something, man. Get a drink or something, man. We can do that. Yes, indeed. So yeah, words should matter because the actions could be completely different. That's right. See, that's what I'm talking about. We getting there. The vibe is already here. That's what we talking about. So I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes, and then we gonna go ahead and man, we gonna see what's happening. We gonna get into the topic of discussion, and what I said I was gonna do is I'm gonna go through the topic. I'm gonna go through the content that I got, and if after that, if you guys want to have some phone calls, I will open up the lines, and man, we can chop it up. I can hear from you guys what your thoughts are, and if not, we can turn this thing off and everybody can go to sleep. That's what it is. But I do want to give a shout out to a couple of my peoples that may not be here. I got to give a shout out to my boy Tommy out there, my main man, my brother from a different mother. What's up to you, brother? And my boy DJ Just J. Want to give a shout out to him and all of my peoples that's out there in the YouTube land that support your boy, that got something good to say or even something bad to say. Hey, man, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, let's have a good time, man. Let's get into some things and let's see what's happening. I got, let's see, 2 more minutes. Yes, indeed. Yes, I believe that Tommy is live. I was definitely checking out the show when he was talking about the young lady that died in the freezer out there in Rosemont, man. That's a wild one there, man. It's a lot going on with that dude. Actually, man, let me give my 2 cents on it. So at the end of the day, man, and people may like this, people may not like it. It is what it is. This is my opinion, and this is America, and I can say what I want to say in America because it's my right as an American. Yes, indeed. But I guess my 2 cents on the whole thing, man, is that first and foremost, man, this is a young girl, man, and it's sad that she passed. It definitely is. The fact that, you know, the way that she died and just the circumstances in which led up to her death. I know I've seen quite a few videos about it. I have not seen the toxicology report, though, so we don't know what was in her system, if she was drugged or if she was just turning up. And the turn up just got too much for her, man. It was just too much, man. You can do too much of the turn up. And I think that just from what I've heard thus far, it's just sad, man, to at the end of the day, aside from the hotel and the freezer, I don't care about none of that. The fact of the matter is that this girl was 19 years old, man, and she's dead just because of the actions that led up to her death, but just the way that she was living her life, man. It's tragic to see young people go out like that. It really is, because that girl hasn't even begun to live her life. She wasn't able to, you know, get married, have a family, have a career. She didn't get to do any of that. And that's partly, too, into how she was living her life. And I hope that a lot of young people realize that, man, that the fact that the way that you live your life, and I know a lot of young people think that older cats, old heads don't want y'all to live. That's not the case, man. I want young people to live. I did some things in my life that I ain't proud of, and I did some things in my life that was hella fun, even though they were stupid. But at the end of the day, there has to be a point to where you have to realize that, hey, you can't just do wild stuff and live on the edge like that and don't expect to have no consequences or repercussions. And it wasn't just so much of you living your life the way that it is, but the people that you surround yourself with. Because at the end of the day, if that was my daughter, if that was my friend, if that was my brother, my cousin, whoever, if that person was in my immediate circle or my family, I would be so pissed at her friends because they let her go out like that. Because at the end of the day, whether she did it on her own, somebody did it to her, somebody helped her, somebody drugged her, whatever, your friends are supposed to be there for you in situations just like that. They supposed to be the ones that's supposed to say, nah, you can't go out in the hallway with this dude. They supposed to be the ones that say, nah, you need to come on in here and sit down. They need to be the ones that say, you need to come on and get in this car. We're going to take you home because you done had too much and you off your square. When you get off your square, your friends are supposed to be there to put you back on your square or to put you in a safe place, in a safety box, whatever you want to call it. You know, there are several times in my life, in my early years, where I was drinking and got drunk to the point to where I didn't remember what happened. But I did that around my family, good people. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, man, those people who could have, you know, let something happen to me, they didn't. They got me, took me home, brought me to the house. I woke up on several occasions in my bed, not knowing how I got there, still had my clothes on, but woke up that way like, man, how did I get here? But was able to call my cousin like, hey, shout out to my man Tuck. I love you, brother. I had to call him, but hey, man, what happened? He tell me like, hey, man, you was out of it, man. And it was like that in itself, it was a great time and it was fun, but I was surrounded by good people. And it's like you have to realize that you need to be surrounded around good people, man, because those people that don't give a damn about you in that waking hour of your life, that pivotal point in your life, they will be who they are. And they will be some people that don't care. That girl was wandering around the hotel, staggering around the hotel, and you want to blame the hotel people for that? You a grown person. You 19 years old. You drunk. Plenty of drunk people come through hotels. I can't tell you how many times I've seen somebody that was just drunk off they square in a hotel somewhere. I can't tell you how many times that's happened. So it does happen, and it gets to the point to where it's not that they feel it's their responsibility, but they get so used to it that it's something normal. So you don't feel like, oh man, I need to step in here and help this person. You just get used to it. And the fact of the matter was, she was just wandering around and wound up in a very bad place. You know what I'm saying? And you can blame the hotel. You can blame the hotel, just try to get that money at the end of the day. But you need, as far as the death of your daughter, you need to be blaming her friends. If that was my daughter, I'd be going to see every last one of them. Every last one of them cats who was there with my daughter. I got to see you to find out what happened. And I'm going to find out one way or the other. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you going to sit up there and go and march and take over the streets and don't want people to stay at a hotel because your daughter was high and drunk off her square and her friends let her just go off the edge. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's like I said, it's a tragic thing to happen, like I said, because of the fact that she's young. But the whole hotel thing and all that stuff, man, that's the responsibility of you being an adult. And that's why you shouldn't be getting drunk and high and sleeping around a bunch of people you don't even know. And you shouldn't be doing it at all at that age. Go and do something that's constructive and still fun. You don't have to be drunk to have a good time. You don't have to be high as a kite to have a good time. You just don't have to do it that way. But that's the culture that we have, and that's how we live, and it's just unfortunate, man. And I'm definitely sad that like I said, that young girl lost her life. But in the way that she did it, it's like you can't do nothing but say, well, that's one of the hazards of it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, living a life of crime. You can't live a life of crime and then be wondering, be like, man, why did they kill him? He was only selling drugs to feed his family. It's the drug game, dude. That's what comes with that. The death and the jail, all that come with that. With the money and all the fast money and the women and all the cars and all the clothes. And yeah, that stuff is all good and dandy. But just like you get all that stuff in one hand, you get that death and you get that killing and the drink. I mean, not drinking, but the killing and the jail time all come with that lifestyle. So it's about how you live your life, and that's what's gonna determine the things that's gonna happen to you. So if you gonna make your bed, lay in it. You know what I'm saying? Be responsible enough to know that, man, I'm living this life like this. I need to at least do it with some people that give a damn about me. That's going to at least not let me just go off with some dude or serve me up to some dudes for $200. And at the end of the day, it's money was involved, and everybody who see this going to say, well, you don't know the full story. We know enough to know that whatever was going on shouldn't have been going on. And it's not just the hotel that's responsible for a freezer. It's her damn friends that let her go off like that and wind up like that. Because at the end of the day, if my cousin, my friend was with me at a hotel party and I can't find you or put eyes on you after 15, 20 minutes go by, it's time to tear the club up. Cut the lights on, cut the music off. I got to go find my people. I ain't going to let my people wander around like that. I'm not going to do it. And they ain't going to let me do it. Because we give a damn about each other and we love each other. I ain't going to be serving up one of my partners for $200 for some chicks, or serving up some girl I know for $200. Yeah, you give me $200, man. You can just take her. Whatever the case may be, it's like, man, you can't do that. You can't live your life like that and not expect one of those hazards to happen, because that's what's gonna go down. It's bound to happen. You know what I'm saying? Even if they come back and say that she was raped, would you be surprised in the situation or the circumstances that led up to that? No. Is it the right thing to do? Should it have happened? No. But it still comes along with it. That's one of the hazards of living your life like that with the turn up. We getting it in. We out here. That's what happens, especially when you with people that don't care about you like that. That's just with you just to be with you. You know what I'm saying? And so that at the end of the day, that's my 2 cents on it. Man, is that my... Man, what's going on? Oliver Copeland, my cousin. What's up, man? I love you, brother. It's good to see you, man. I ain't put eyes on you since you been back in the shop, but, man, it is good to see you, man. My cousin. Boy, we go way back like Cadillacs. Well, we got to say Lincoln, because we know your daddy would have been like, boy, I don't want to know nothing about no Cadillac. You know about that Lincoln. Rest in peace to my uncle, OC 100. But anyway, that's pretty much my thing on that, man. It's like we taking it too far. We going too deep into it. You got community activists and stuff going out there. Man, there's people dying in the streets. Where was all this drama when that girl a few weeks back that just got shot up like 12 times? How we got more people coming out for somebody who was turned up, drunk and high and at a party? How we got more people concerned about that than we do about a mother who was walking down the street, dude get out the car, give her 12 shots and hop off and ride and gone? Where's the protest and the march for her at the end of the day? Because we still ain't heard what that was all about. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we sometimes put our energy and our time into not necessarily things that aren't important, but there are more things that are more important at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? A splinter in your hand can be a problem, but if you shot in the other hand, that's a bigger problem. That needs more attention than the splinter. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of times we try to focus on the splinter just because the splinter's the hot topic. The splinter might get you some money. The splinter might get you more attention. So it's like, but if you got a gunshot wound on your hand, you going to want to hold and wrap that. You ain't going to think about that splinter. Not to say that the splinter ain't important and you want to get the splinter out, but you got a gunshot wound over here, you know? And it's like we got somebody a mother who got shot 12 times on the street in broad daylight. And ain't nobody asking about where her justice at. Ain't nobody marching about her justice. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's the thing that we have to fix as us. That's a us thing. That ain't the media. That ain't the police. That ain't the community. That's us as a people. Well, it is the community. That's us as our people looking out for us and making sure that we doing the best that we can do for each other. You know what I'm saying? So that's my rant on that. Let me go ahead and get into this topic. And for everybody that's checking me out, there's like 1 or 2 people on Facebook that's checking me out. Get on over to the live and check us out there on YouTube Live. You go to youtube.com, type in The Relationship Rehab. That's my channel. Sign on there and check me out too. So I'm going to let it run for a little bit, and we're going to do that, and then I might have to just end it or whatever, and then whoever ain't there, ain't there. But Oliver, you need to go ahead and subscribe to my channel, man, just cause that's the blood. So yeah, that's a mandate. I'm putting the blood on the line. My cousin, the cousinship is on the line. But anyway, I want to get into my topic today. So my topic is, if you haven't seen it already, it's all words matter. And I wanted to do this show for quite some time. I really wanted to think about, I thought about what I wanted to say, and I was like, you know what, I really need to do this show, because a lot of things that I say and a lot of things that I hear people say, it's like this can like tie that kind of stuff together, because I think a lot of times we use words that are just like trigger words, or the that's what's in now word, or that's the word that gets a lot of attention or could bring on a lot of heat, and we use those words just to use them. And I think that when you use a word and you really don't know the meaning of it, I think that that word is used out of context, and then it's just the word you just using. And then even when somebody try to correct you, all you can say, oh, well, you know what I mean. Oh yeah, that's what I meant. And I think that at the end of the day, you should always, as men and women, you should say what you mean and mean what you say, and above all else, know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't, and if somebody corrects you, be humble enough to accept the correction and be like, oh man, okay, I didn't know that. Or I was mistaken about that, or I misspoke, and acknowledge that. Because a lot of times we'll say something and somebody will correct us, and then we'll just keep going like it ain't happened. Or we just be like, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. No, stop and understand and acknowledge the fact that what you were saying wasn't the correct thing to say. And now you understand it, and now you got it. Or even ask and say, well, I don't understand it. Explain it to me, so that you can learn and you can grow as a person. Because when you're using the wrong words, then you can definitely, what you're trying to say or what your intentions are, if you're using the wrong words, will definitely get misunderstood. And people will always be saying then, well, you don't understand what I'm saying. You don't understand what I'm saying. And then somebody will say something, you'll say, oh, well, that's what I was trying to say. Well, it's your responsibility as an adult to make sure that you actually know exactly what it is that you're saying. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, when you do and you can see that, then you can say, well, hey, this is what's up. I know what it is, and I can go ahead and just do what I'm going to do. And now I know. So now let me go ahead and move on and say, hey, this is the right thing to say. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. That's what it's about. And that's what you need to make sure that, look at this. I got a few, look at these little, what do you call them? The trolls. Oh, that's so sweet of you guys. Don't have nothing to do and came by to see me. That is awesome. Come on here now. That is so nice. Yes. Now go on ahead, create another channel, and then come on back so I can get another view. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. But that at the end of the day, what's going on, Brother Jason? But that at the end of the day is what the premise of all of this was making sure that when we use words now, then we need to make sure that the words that we're using, we know ourselves while we're using them and while we're saying them. So that's pretty much what I did. And I said, okay, well, I came up with some words that I hear people and that I've definitely had conversations with before, over to say, hey, this is what it is that you're saying, and this is why people may disagree, or why people may not, understand what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, that's what I want us to take away from this. Make sure that what it is that you're saying is the right thing, and then if it's wrong, then somebody can challenge it, and we're challenging it for the right reasons. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's exactly what it's about. So go ahead and kick back, relax, and like I said, even at the end of the day, if y'all want, I can open up the phone lines. We can still chop it up. So it's all good. Everybody seem to be coming in now. I appreciate y'all for coming in and checking me out. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into it. So my first word that I wanted to do or basically just cover is basically one of the hottest words that I always hear people say. And that word is racism. So when you hear people say, yeah, it's racism that's out here, and racism is this, and racism is that, and it's because of racism as to how we're doing this, or this is happening to us. A lot of people don't understand the true definition of racism. And at the end of the day, racism is a powerful word, and when you use it out of context, you take away the full meaning and the full depth and the power from that word when you're using it out of context. So it's like, that's like one of the biggest things that I wanted to make sure that one of the biggest words I wanted to cover. So when you hear the word racism, racism is not necessarily a person. It is actually a system. It's a belief or a doctrine of just saying that you are basically less than, or you are put into this category, or you are denied this, or you are oppressed as a group because of the simple fact you are this color or this race. That's racism. So there has to be something already in place. There has to be like a system in place. So like, for instance, if it was to say, well, hey, black people cannot come into the state of Illinois, then that would be racism. Because if you have checkpoints up, and the simple fact that if somebody looks at your skin, don't know anything about you, don't know what you are, what you've done, who you are, or what your intentions are, and they are going to just say, well, hey, you can't have access to this because of your skin color, because of your race. That is racism. So it's like, if somebody is a racist, which is my second word, that person is a person who is actually a part of that system, not benefiting from it, but they are actually a part of that system. Case in point. So if you guys remember a few administrations ago, the Clinton administration, do you remember when they came up with the 3 strikes rule, right? When Hillary Clinton came on TV and called these young black teenagers super predators. Not just predators, but super predators. Y'all remember Predator? Y'all remember that movie, The Predator? Y'all remember what the things did? They was just hunting down things, period. Not just people, but animals, whatever. But she called these young black teenagers that are out here committing crimes and whatever they're doing in the streets, they are super predators and they need to be stopped. Now, it turns out that administration, however, was the largest incarceration of black people that has ever taken place in our history since slavery. Very powerful. There has been no larger incarceration of specifically black people, hence, and to go even deeper, black men, than the 3 strikes rule era, which is what they did and what they instituted and they put in play. Now, a few years ago, or during the election, was it during the election process? I think somebody apologized for it, whatever. But at the end of the day, is what you could call a racist act. That was racism in itself, because you came up with a law to strictly oppress or to strictly lock up, deny access, not give a chance to just simply ship off any black person that committed 3 crimes. At the end of the day, that was the 3 strikes rule. They were literally locking cats up, locking people up just to get them to that 3rd strike so that they can go to jail basically forever. So that, at the end of the day, is something that you could call a racist act. The people who put that in motion, the politicians who voted for it, the politicians that wrote it, the people who put that together, they are racist because they did a racist act. They committed and they put together a system strictly that was designed to basically hurt another people or another race of people strictly on their race, based on their skin color, at the end of the day. So that is what I mean by that. So, and to go further into that, so when you call somebody a racist, or you call somebody, or when you say what's happening to you is racism, it needs to be a system in place. Because at the end of the day, if I'm a black person and I don't like white people, I'm not a racist, because I don't have a system to oppress them, to deny them access, to not give them something, or to deny them from something just because of the color of their skin. If I don't like white people, or I don't like Hispanic people, or I don't like Asian people, then I'm just a person who is a bigot. I have a prejudice against someone because of the color of their skin. I'm not a racist. I'm not racist. This is not racism if I do that. So at the end of the day, you have to have some sort of power and some sort of system in place to oppress another race of people in order to be a racist. Cool. Man, I'm glad we got that out the way. At this time, I am going to go ahead and finish up here at the live Facebook thing, and we're just going to go strictly to the good old-fashioned YouTube. So get on over to the YouTube. Check us out there. If you got any questions or anything about that, I don't know what to tell you. If you don't know how to get over to YouTube, you need to get your life. So I'm going to post it one more time. Hopefully you'll get it, and I'm going to finish that. And we out of here, Facebook. We over here on the YouTube. All right, so getting back to it. The next thing that I have up here is coon. Now, coon has been something that has been used for a very, 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 very long time. Everybody who is considered to be a person of color that is not doing something that you think they should be doing as a person of color, you are considered to be a coon. And the fact that we think that it's okay to do that, I think there's a problem with that, because what people use coon for back in the day, during the days of Jim Crow and all that kind of stuff, you was considered a coon for a lot of different reasons. And just because you had a difference of opinion and you may agree with a person that is not a person of color, that doesn't make you a coon. So I kind of thought about this for a long time and tried to figure something out, like, man, so what is exactly a coon and what do people consider to be coons? And it was really nothing really clear. There was no clear definition of coon. There was no clear thing that says, if you do this, then you are a coon. There was no clear defining definition for that. So that's when I said, well, in that case, I need to figure something out. And I thought about it. I did a little bit of research on it and trying to just figure out in today's time what people consider cooning to be, or to be considered a coon. Even like somebody just put in Jason just put in there, a house nigga, whatever you want to call it. A coon is not necessarily somebody who doesn't share the same opinion as a black person does, or who does something that black people think you shouldn't do. That does not make you a coon. At the end of the day, we all have choice and we all have preferences, and those things should not make you a coon. So I came up with what I think is a great definition for coon. In my opinion, what I think a coon is one who willingly participates in the misguidance and or miseducation of one's own people using false narratives, half-truths, and lies, etc. All right? I'm going to say that one more time, because this doesn't necessarily pertain to just one particular race of people. This is just in general to what I think a coon is. One who willingly participates in the misguidance and or miseducation of one's own people using false narratives, half-truths, and lies. So that's what I think. When I hear coon, when I hear somebody say, oh, you acting like a coon, or you doing this, if you don't do one or all of these things, then that's not going to qualify you as a coon in my book. At the end of the day, because at the end of the day, when you're talking about a coon, you're talking about somebody who is doing something, or I've even heard people say like race traders and all that kind of stuff. If you're somebody like that, then that should mean that you're doing one of those things. You're either, again, willingly participating in the misguidance and or miseducation of your own people, using false narratives, half-truths, and lies. That's what I would say would qualify you as a so-called coon. If you're not doing one of those things and you just have a difference of opinion, if you just have a different idea, if you feel a different way about what it is that somebody may be talking about or what it is you may be talking about, then you're not a coon for that. And I think that that is something that has really just gotten out of hand, and we just throw coon around because it's a trigger word. It's a word to say, oh, you say you what? You don't like hot sauce? Oh man, you a coon. Nigga, you a coon. You don't like no hot sauce. You know what I'm saying? You got to like hot sauce, you black. And if you don't like hot sauce, then you a coon. Nonsense. It's just straight nonsense. So I guess that would be my thing for when we talk about a coon. What a coon is in my book and what I think a coon is, that's exactly what it would be. So moving right along, when you're talking about, I guess the opposite of a coon or whatever, and what we like to talk about a lot of times are pro-blacks. So pro-black. And the definition and what I found in my research for pro-black is a lifestyle that encourages the economic growth and development of the black people as a whole, with a purpose of increasing the wealth and population of black people around the world, whether it be spending money with black-owned business in your communities or online, promoting love for black people, and encouraging black youth. Is its sole purpose to keep uplifting black people in America to be proud and in America to be proud at the same time. So, if you are a pro-black and you're not doing one of those things or all of those things, then what are you? Because a lot of the pro-blacks that I see, they either tearing down other pro-blacks or they tearing down people that's not pro-black. And they feel as though they have been empowered with the policing of people that are not their type of specific pro-black. So that in itself is self-explanatory. Pro-black is not necessarily, it should be a lifestyle. So it should be something that you live, something that you do that makes you pro-black. And you should, based on what this definition said, should be doing all of these things. And I guess the whole thing of promoting love for black people and encouraging black people and specifically youth, if you're not doing that, how can you even attempt to consider yourself a pro-black? So at the end of the day, I think that people who have their opinion and think that they are pro-black, think that they are this particular person, I want to see the upliftment and the rise of my black people. I think that if you have that mentality and you're not doing those things, then you are just a hypocrite or a person who has their own agenda, and you are against anybody that's not following or agreeing with your agenda. Plain and simple. That's just 1 + 1 = 2. So that at the end of the day is pretty much self-explanatory, and that's something that you can actually hold up against what somebody is doing or saying. So if I'm a pro-black and I'm talking about another black person and I'm not specifically promoting love for black people and encouraging black youth, then I shouldn't be actually having a beef with anybody that's not a pro-black. By that logic of that definition, if you're doing something, if I'm a pro-black and I think that you a coon, I either should not associate with you, I should completely disconnect from you and what you're doing, and I should be putting my energy towards encouraging and promoting love amongst my brothers or my fellow blacks, and I should be spending my money with black-owned businesses and increasing the wealth and population of black people around the world. That's basically what I should be doing. So me saying that it's my job to tear down this other person or to shut this other person down, I can't be a pro-black and I'm doing that. It's a total contradiction to what this definition is saying. So that is that. Next word is color struck. Color struck. The definition of color struck is to have an aversion to someone's skin color. And this is usually used in the African American community, especially in the South or the Southern U.S. is what they say. So when you're talking about color struck, then that means that you're saying that somebody is basically, I just have an affinity for, or I have a dislike for or disdain for somebody whose color is not of my liking or of my hue that I feel is this certain person. So if I say, well, I don't hang around dark-skinned people, then that's color struck. If I say, well, I don't like light-skinned people, then that's color struck. Because at the end of the day, you are strictly you strictly have this thing against this person based on the color of their skin. And at the end of the day, that's more so of being like a racist. Because at the end of the day, if you have that and if you have a system in place for that, then you would be a racist. If you're not, then you just may be color struck. So somebody who says that, I make sure I clean that up. Because if you are a person that don't like light-skinned people, then you're color struck. You're not a racist because you have no system and you have no way to oppress that person using power. You have no power to oppress that other person because of the color of their skin. So you may be color struck because you are yourself black. I guess you would say that. And then you don't like people that are lighter than you, or you may be a lighter skinned African American and you don't like people that are darker than you. That at the end of the day would be color struck. Moving on, and that's pretty much covering like the whole racist part of the thing, or the whole color part of the thing. These other words here are really just like the hot words that people just use in like everyday conversation, that I just like so tired of people using them, and they're using them out of context or they don't make any sense. All right. So these next four are really good. So this one is going to be bashing. What the hell is bashing? I don't get it. I don't understand why people say bashing. If you using bashing in that context of saying you trying to bash me, or why you bashing him, or why you bashing her, then you are not, you are ignorant. And that's another word that's on here. You're ignorant to that word and you don't know the definition, and you're using it in the wrong context. So bashing, the act of beating, whipping, or thrashing. Yeah, that's the definition. The definition 2 of that is decisive defeat. 3, unprovoked physical assault against members of a specified group, such as gay bashing. Right? So then they come and they say verbal abuse as of a group or a nation. So that means when you're talking about, like you say, like people will say gay bashing, then that means that you are being physical with a group of people based on this particular preference that they may have, or orientation that they may have sexually. If you are bashing someone, you are physically doing something to them. The verbal part of that is you're doing it as a group. So you're still not bashing somebody in singularity and saying, yeah, this person here I'm bashing this person because I don't like the shoes she got on. That is not bashing. So please stop using that word just because you hear it all the time. Bashing is just that: physical, harm, hurt. The verbal aspect of that, you can't be verbally bashing somebody unless you're like standing over them and are just like saying just hurtful things to them. That's in their face. Having an opinion or judging what somebody is saying or what somebody is doing, that is your right to do that. Because at the end of the day, what you put out in public, what you put out in social media, what you say out of your mouth, any and everybody has the right to challenge you on that. And if they disagree with it, that's absolutely okay. Okay? Cool. Shaming. That's my next one. Shaming. The definition of shaming is the painful feeling arising from the consciousness of something dishonorable, improper, or ridiculous done by oneself or another. So it's something that you feel based on something that you've done that is dishonorable, improper, or ridiculous. So somebody saying like the word slut shaming. Slut shaming means that you as a slut feel some kind of way because what you're doing is dishonorable, improper, or ridiculous. So if somebody say you can't shame me, actually I can, because what you're doing is dishonorable, or it's improper, or it's ridiculous. Now, there's somebody who will see this and hear the words that I just said and say, well, how do you decide what's improper? How do you decide what's dishonorable? And how do you decide what's ridiculous? We all are individuals and we all our own people. At the end of the day, there's a thing called society. And in society, there are rules. In society, there are unspoken rules. In society, there are laws. In society, we all have the right to determine as a group what is okay and what isn't. Just like if I feel that it's okay for me to beat an 80-year-old lady on the street, society doesn't feel that way. So therefore, what I'm doing is improper. What I'm doing is dishonorable, and it's ridiculous. And society deems that as wrong. So therefore, I will be prosecuted under the law because of that. We as a society have deemed that assault is wrong. And with assault being wrong, that means you can't do it even if you feel as though it is okay. And if you feel that it's okay, then you still will be prosecuted under the law. And it ain't bogus. It ain't, you can't say, well, that's not right, or they shouldn't do that. That's exactly why they should do it, because that is what society has deemed as being dishonorable, improper, and ridiculous. So if you choose to sleep with 100 dudes, you can absolutely do that because it is not against the law unless they paying you in a certain state, then it is. But other than that, you can do it. But in society, we deem that as being dishonorable. We deem that as being improper. So if we call you a slut, a dirty slut, or a hoe, or whatever the case may be, that would be based on society's standards of what we deem to be dishonorable, improper, or ridiculous. And that is why we want you to feel bad about it. And you should feel bad about it because it is not what society deems as being normal. And for those of you that say, well, I don't care what society thinks, you live in society. You live in society. So there are certain rules and there are certain things that you need to adhere to because they are a part of the moral of society as a whole. Everybody is different. Everybody's their own person. Everybody's their own individual, and they can be able to do what they want, yes, within the parameters of what society has deemed as okay. Because at one point in time, it was okay to burn somebody alive that you thought was a witch. That's what society thought was okay until society evolved and said, hey, this is pretty stupid and we can't prove any of it. So let's stop doing it. So that's why you can't just say that somebody's a witch today and then burn them at the stake. You can't do that. So the same reason why people came together as a group and as a whole and as a society and said, we aren't going to do this. That's why they did that when it came to saying, hey, if you are a person that is sleeping around with hundreds of people or tens of people, whatever the case may be, you are considered promiscuous, you are considered a slut, you are considered a whore, or whatever the case may be, because that is what society has deemed. That's it, and that's that. That's the reality of what it is that we're doing and what it is that's going on in our world. People try to people tend to be delusional about that are actually doing it. Or people who don't have a moral compass tend to say, well, you should be able to do whatever you want. And that at the end of the day leads to chaos. If there's no law, there's no order, there is chaos. And chaos means, hey, the strongest will survive. That means whoever's the biggest or the baddest will survive. And you don't want to live in a society that's ruled by chaos, especially being a woman. Because at the end of the day, that means men will call all of the shots because we are the stronger vessel. We are the stronger creature of the two. So therefore, we would run every single thing. The biggest, baddest dudes, the biggest and strongest dudes would run everything if that was okay. If everything was cool and you could do whatever you want, that's what would happen. So you don't want to do that. Next to last is judging. I hate when people say this. Oh my God, you can't judge me. Only God can judge me. You don't know my life, whatever the case may be. When you talking about judging, everybody, please hear me. Everybody has the right to, and everybody has the ability to, and everybody judges. You judge every single day. You judge on the clothes that you wear. You judge on the shoes that somebody else wears. You judge people based on the clothes, the money that they have. You judge people on every single thing, every single day for the most part. All of your decisions are based on judgment. Based on what you know about a particular thing, based on what you know as far as what society deems as being okay or good, better or best, or worse, you judge on that. Period. There is no, oh, I don't judge nobody. I let people live. You don't. Because the person that you sleep with, you judge them before you sleep with them. The person that you talk to and hang with, you judge them based on their actions and what they do and what they say. The people that you work with, you judge them. The people that if you work in retail, the things that you offer to people, you offer them because of based on what you can see and by your judgment, what it is that you do. That's why you will offer them whatever it is that you're offering them as a salesman or a saleswoman. You judge every single day, and you judge on just about every single thing because you're supposed to. And it's not that only God can judge you. That's to get into heaven. That does not mean living your life day to day. That does not mean what you do on this earth can't nobody else judge but God. No, God is going to judge you. For those of you that are Christians and that are religious, God will judge you based on what you have done to see if you're going to get into heaven. That ain't got nothing to do with what you do out here in these streets. Yeah, God is going to judge you on that to say, well, let's see, put this on the scale to see if you're going to get up in here past through the pearly gates. What people see is just like when if you see a snake. At the end of the day, most people don't like snakes. And this is a reference that Tommy always uses. Most people don't like snakes. Why? Because most snakes are poisonous. Now, not all, but based on your judgment and what you know about snakes, they're generally poisonous, so you tend to stay away from them. So you won't let every single snake bite you or be around you because you don't know if it's poisonous or not. You assume and you automatically imply that snake, and you assume that snake is poisonous. So that's how you treat it. You behave, you act around it as if it is poisonous. That's why you don't want to touch it. That's why you don't want to be close to it, because you don't want to get bit by a poisonous snake. So even if the snake isn't poisonous, the fact that it's a snake is why you judge it and deem it to be poison. So that's judging. At the end of the day, that's what you do. Just like if you see somebody standing in front of you with some Walmart special shoes on, and you see somebody with some Giuseppe's or some Louboutins, you're going to judge them that this person probably has more money as this person. Not to say that you are correct, because there's a lot of people who got Louboutins that's fronting. There's a lot of people who got Giuseppe's and who got Gucci that's fronting. At the end of the day, they got what they got on their feet. They don't even have in their bank account. Plenty of people like that in the world. And the fact that is the truth, the fact that is, you judge them the opposite, which is why most people do it, because it puts up a front. It implies that they may have money. It implies that they may be rich. It implies that they can actually afford those fashion items, which is why people wear them, even if they are fake, so that you will judge them based on what you see or what they want you to see or what they're showing you. You will make a judgment on that. Yeah, because he got on these Jordans, he must have money, or he probably do get a little bread because he wearing mics every day. When at the end of the day, that may be the only thing that he has. It is what it is. I get it. But nevertheless, that's what judging is. It's to form a judgment or opinion and decide upon it critically. So you critically think that I'm going to do this, say this, or behave like this because this person has this. Based on what I see, I'm going to judge them on that. Based on what they've done, I'm going to judge them on that. Based on their actions, I am going to judge them on that. And I'm going to say that I'm going to behave this way, or I'm going to say this to them based on what it is that you've seen at the end of the day. Last but definitely not least, this word here has been so misunderstood, especially by our people, that I definitely wanted to put it on here, and this is why I put it on here last. This word is ignorant. The word again is ignorant. That is IGNORANT. Ignorant. Here's the definition. Hear this well, please. Ignorant means lacking in knowledge or training, unlearned. An ignorant man is a man who you would consider is lacking in knowledge or training, a person that is unlearned. Definition 2, lacking knowledge or information as to a particular subject or fact. Ignorant of quantum physics, which I am. I don't know jack shit about quantum physics. I am ignorant to that. Uninformed, unaware, due to or showing lack of knowledge or training. So we are so offended by the word ignorant. And it is strictly because we are ignorant of the definition. We don't know the definition. And so therefore, we are judging what you're saying by what we think we know of you or what we know of the word. We are making a judgment and thinking that you are insulting us. And at the end of the day, when you're not, it is not something that you should be offended by. It is something that you should actually use. And if someone says, hey, you know what? Let me explain this to you because I think you're ignorant to this. That is not an insult. That's somebody educating you. I have said on several occasions throughout my life, well, I think I'm ignorant to what you're saying. Can you explain that? Or can you, I don't know what it is that you're telling me, so I'm kind of ignorant to it. So can you explain that to me a little bit better? Because I am not trained in it. I work on computers. And at the end of the day, if there's something that I don't know, I'll say, hey, I'm ignorant to this. When it comes to this particular program on this particular server or this computer, I'm kind of ignorant to that. Can you give me a hand or give me some notes or give me some direction on what it is I can do to learn about it? Or can you teach me? The word ignorant is not a bad word. It is simply a fact about the state of a person's knowledge about something or how well trained or not or untrained that they could very well be. And if someone says, hey, you know what, you're ignorant to football, then maybe you are. And if you're not, then you should be able to explain to them by using your knowledge of football that you're not ignorant. So ignorant is not a bad word. It is a word that makes absolute sense when there's something that you are talking about or something you may be questioning that you don't know. If you don't have the knowledge, if you are lacking in training, you are absolutely ignorant to that specific subject or that particular act or that particular genre, whatever you want to call it. If somebody wants to talk to me about country music, I am ignorant to country music because I only know maybe 5 artists. And out of them 5 artists, I don't own not one of their albums. And I maybe could name you maybe 5 songs. Not that I hate country music. I'm just ignorant to it. I haven't been introduced to it. I haven't had somebody to introduce me to it. So at the end of the day, when you're ignorant to something, that's not a bad thing. Being ignorant to something should be an opportunity for something. It should be an opportunity for you to learn about that subject or about the topic or about the situation. Don't just take ignorant as being an offensive word or somebody calling you a name, because they're not. They're stating a fact about your level of knowledge, period, on that particular subject. So if I say you're ignorant, that doesn't mean that you're dumb and you have no knowledge. That doesn't mean that you're retarded and you just can't think. That doesn't mean that you just don't know a goddamn thing in the world and shouldn't nobody even talk to you and they shouldn't waste time talking to you. Doesn't mean that. It simply means that that specific situation that you're talking about, or that specific topic, or that specific subject that you're talking about, you are unlearned, you are lacking in knowledge, and you basically don't have the training or lacking of training of that particular thing. And that is not a bad thing. That should be an opportunity for you to get educated on it. That should be an opportunity for you to learn about it. That should be an opportunity for you to get understanding about it. So if somebody says, hey, you are ignorant, or I think you may be ignorant to this, then say, well, can you educate me on it? That would be the response that you should be following up with if you don't know. And if you only know something about it, you say, well, maybe I'm a little ignorant on what you're saying, so can you educate me about it? I may not be completely ignorant, but I can definitely be a little bit ignorant about certain subjects or certain topics. Cool. So just to recap real quick, our trigger words that we went over in the All Words Matter show is racism, and that's basically talking about a specific doctrine that inherit differences among various human racial groups, and that at the end of the day is a policy system of government based upon the fostering of such a doctrine based strictly upon your race as a human, what you are in the human race, and somebody discriminating against you in that fashion or for that simple fact, or have prejudice against you. That is racism based on the color of your skin, nothing else. Now, your actions and what you do, if you're a thief, and just because you black, I call you a thief, then you can't say that I'm a racist because I'm white. You just can't say it. Cool? All right. Moving on to the next one. Racist. Racist is an actual person that believes in that doctrine, that supports that system, and is one of the people in power of that system. They control the system. I am a string puller. I am an engineer of it. I am one of the people that makes it go. I'm a cog in the wheel. Just because I benefit from racism doesn't make me a racist. Just because I benefit from racism, it does not make me a racist. I am just benefiting from it. Those people that you say have white privilege or have black privilege, whatever the case may be, that does not make them a racist. Stop saying that. Stop saying that someone is a racist because they benefit from an oppressive system. They benefit from a racist system. It does not make them a racist. It makes them a benefit of that particular privilege, whether they're white, whether they're black, whatever the case may be. And somebody might be saying, well, how can you have black privilege? The fact that I can come on here and I can say the word nigger and nobody say anything to me about it, that gives me black privilege on that word. Because if somebody of another color says that word, they're going to lose their job. They are considered a racist, which is not correct, and they will get flack for it. However, I get to use it freely. That I have black privilege with them when it comes to that word. It's just that. It's a simple fact. So that at the end of the day is what privilege means, and then what racism means and what a racist is. Bam. That's it. Now you can go into detail about it and you can get real philosophical about it and go in deep, but we're not doing that. Coon. Please remember this one. Coon. One who willingly participates in the misguidance and or miseducation of one's own people using false narratives, half-truths, and lies, etc. That is the doctor of discussion definition, okay? Because there is no true definition as to what a coon is. It's really just like slang to refer to a black person. Pro-black. A pro-black is a person who lives a lifestyle that encourages the economic growth and development of black people as a whole, Also increases the wealth and population of the black people around the world, and spends money with black-owned businesses and communities, or online. Also, a pro-black promotes love for black people and encourages black youth. It's its sole purpose to the uplifting of black people in America. So you can't tear down a black person and be a pro-black. Boom. That's the one-liner for that one. Color struck. Color struck is basically a person who has an aversion towards someone's skin color. So whether you're black, white, yellow, dark yellow, high yellow, medium yellow, if you pale, tanned, olive skin, olive color complexion, whatever the case may be, you have an aversion towards someone's skin color. So if I'm black and I don't like people that are blacker than me, then I'm color struck. If I'm black and I don't like people that are lighter than me, then I'm color struck, because I have an aversion towards that person or that particular, or dislike or disdain for that particular people based on the shade or the hue of their skin, period. Bashing. Bashing is a physical act. It is something where somebody is beating, whipping, or thrashing somebody. It is not just because somebody says something that you feel is harsh. That is not bashing. Something that you don't like. That is not bashing. Somebody tells you something that you don't agree with. That is not bashing. If somebody is condemning or shaming, that's going to be next, your actions, they are not bashing you. They are challenging you on what it is that you're doing and your behavior. It's not bashing. Moving right along. Shaming. Shaming is doing something that is dishonorable, improper, or ridiculous based on what society as a whole has agreed upon. That is shaming. So if you're doing something that is wrong and people are telling you that you shouldn't do it, they are trying to shame you into doing that. They are shaming you because what you're doing has already been deemed as being dishonorable, improper, or ridiculous. So you don't get to do whatever the hell you want to do and then say you can't shame me. Plain and simple, you can't. Judging, to form a judgment or opinion, to decide upon critically. So basically what you see based on behavior, what you see based on someone's actions, or whatever the case may be, you are judging that from what you know and what you have assessed from what it is that you know about this person, about this thing, about that subject. You make a judgment based upon that. Okay? Based on the evidence that you may see, based on the things that you know. That is judging. Everybody does it, and it's not a bad thing because you do it every single day. So judging is good. Judging is okay. Judging is right. Ignorant. Again, lacking in knowledge or training or unlearned. It's okay to be ignorant as long as you want to get educated. Cool. Whew. That was good. I'm glad I got that off my chest. Anybody got any comments that they want to make about it? I see. Let me read a couple here. There are rich black people and there are poor white people. No white privilege or black privilege other than affirmative action. Exactly. So affirmative action, in that instance, affirmative action doesn't make me a racist. Affirmative action means that I am benefiting from black privilege. It's that simple. I'm benefiting based on black privilege. That's what that is. That's what affirmative action is. It is a benefit afforded to people of color solely based on the color of their skin. It's not oppressing somebody else. So that's why it can't be racist. It is basically affording a benefit to someone else based on the color of their skin. That's what that is. Anybody else? Coon is short for barracoon. It was a slave house that Portuguese slavers kept enslaved Africans. These slaves were referred to as coon, which means slave, because of where they was kept. Now, classic example of me being ignorant to what Pandorians has just said, and now I've been educated. Bam, there it is. I still like my definition though, because people use it every day. So that's exactly what it is. Now, just like that is the true origin, I would say, of that word. That's where that word comes from. And that is why people use it back then, I would imagine. So now, here is the definition based on the context in which we use that word. That's exactly what I provided. So great, thank you so much for that, Pandorians. It's about giving opportunity to someone that might not have gotten a fair chance otherwise. Absolutely, but and at the end of the day, that whole piece of affirmative action was in place because of the racism that is in place in our government today. And that was in efforts to try to combat that or tip the scale. So the same injustice that you would say affirmative action does, the reason for it was because of the injustice that just the regular, that our government actually has and has done against, or I guess in the action of oppressing people of color, period. Not just black people, just people of color. So, and at the end of the day, I mean, in all reality, when you look at what it is that this country is, this is a country that at the end of the day was founded by, built on, well, not founded by, but built on, taken over by, and settled by white people. It's theirs. They came and took it. It's their shit at the end of the day. So realize where you at. And just because of where you at doesn't mean that you can say, well, what they doing to us, it ain't right. Yeah, it may not be right, but at the end of the day, there is a certain way to go about things to bring about change. And if you're not going to do that, then you're not going to get hurt and you're not going to get what you want. It's just that simple. It is just that simple. So you have to realize where you at, and you have to realize the rules of the game so that you know exactly what it is you need to do in order to be a player in the game. Because if not, then you just a spectator. And at the end of the day, a large portion of us, that 13 or 14% of us here, that's what we are. We are spectators because we don't know the game and we don't want to learn the game. We don't want to learn the rules. We just want to do what we want to do and shout like the fans do as far as what we like and what we don't like. It's just like when you watching a football game and you don't like a call that a referee made. At the end of the day, he made the call based on his judgment. Now, it may not be right, but then again, it's still his judgment. It's his call. And if he makes that call, you can shout from the stands and say you don't like it, but unless you one of the executives or one of the owners, you can't bring about changing the rule. Plain and simple. You just gonna watch. And if you don't like it, don't watch. And if you don't like it, leave the game. It's just that simple. So I want to say thank you to everybody that tuned in. Thank you to everybody that supported. This was, I think, a very good start. I hope that this is an idea that people will hear and understand and see and think that it's something that they can actually learn from. It wasn't perfect or whatever. But at the end of the day, I think that it was definitely a good way to start as far as what we use, the words we use, and how we say them. Because I think when you don't use words correctly, that you tend to not get your point across. You tend to be misunderstood. And in a lot of cases, you can sound stupid. And I don't want anybody to do that. I want people to understand what it is that they're saying. And I want people to understand what it is that they're saying and why they're saying it. So think before you speak and know what you're talking about before you talk about it, because you may not want to admit it, but all words do matter. What you say and the way that you say it, it matters. And at the end of the day, that's why you always speak in truth. Because even if people don't like the way you say something, the fact that what you said, you know it, and it's knowledgeable and it's truthful, they can't deny you. You can't argue with that part of it. If you want somebody to understand what it is that you're saying, you can say it the way you want to say it, but let it be factual and let it be truthful. So know what you're saying and know the way that you're saying it and know why you're saying it. So in that case, people will say, well, I see why you're saying that. I may not like it, but at the end of the day, I do understand what you're saying. I do see what you're saying. You're right. then you can say that. And when you have people saying that, then you're on to something. You are what we would call at that point articulating yourself. You know how to speak. You know how to hold a conversation or debate, whatever the case may be, because you are able to not only say what it is that you mean and mean what you say, but you are also able to understand and you're able to acknowledge what somebody else is saying to you. And that, at the end of the day, when you can communicate like that, now you have great tools to build relationships. When you know what it is you're saying, when you understand what it is that you're saying or what you're doing, and you can explain that and articulate that, and then you can hear what somebody else says and you can acknowledge what they're saying, even if it's something you don't agree with, you are now building a relationship. You're using the tools to build a healthy relationship. At the end of the day, man, did I just tie that back into the relationship rehab? Yes, I did. Boy, I know a thing or two about a thing or two. Yes, I do. Well, I just want to say thank you to everybody that came by. Shout out to all of the people from Soto Nations, all the mods that came through and helped the brother out. I appreciate you. Much love and respect to you, James White, Pandorians, KD, Jason Gunn, my brother from another mother. Everybody that just took the time out to just click the like. I hope y'all click the like on here and share this. Man, I looked at my subscribers today and I'm at like 918. I need to get to that 1,000 people. And the only way I could do that is if y'all go ahead and share the show. Send it to somebody that you don't know. Send it to somebody that you don't normally see and say, hey, check this dude out. Go ahead and subscribe to this dude's channel. I appreciate you. I want to get to 1,000 likes. 1,000 subs before the weekend is out. I believe we can do it. I got to catch a plane tomorrow. I'm heading to Texas. I got some business to take care of. So, man, y'all send up a couple of prayers for safe travels and for a positive outcome. Brother got a young interview in Texas on Monday. So I'm going to head out tomorrow afternoon, get there and get myself together. And, man, see what happens, people. I appreciate you all. I love each and every one of you guys. If you need something from me, hit me up on the email. Go to my website, The Relationship Rehab, and you can hit me up from there. Everybody that's in here, y'all pretty much know how to do that. And, man, till next time, my people, I love you, and I will see you guys real soon. Thank y'all so much for coming by. I'm Brian Redman, the Doctor of Discussion. This is The Relationship Rehab, live. So tell me, why did I go live? Thank y'all so much, man. I appreciate you guys. Peace, and I'm out.